Good afternoon, Hi-10 George Realty. We are so delighted to have Nancy Chan here in person from Lawyers Title. She is going to go over the things we should be reviewing when we receive a preliminary title report, how to avoid some pitfalls. And this is a very important topic because recently we've had some things missed, so we'll learn what we should be looking for and reviewing. So I am going to turn it over to Nancy Chan so that she can begin the training. Thank you, Nancy.
Okay,
All right. Get out of your way.
thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I can't see everybody, but I know you guys are online. You know my phone number. You can text me anytime if you have any questions. A little bit about what we're going to talk about. Okay, preliminary report is really important. We know that as a realtor, you do disclosures, right? Disclose the condition of the property, what's happening in the has been happening on the property, and we have NHD disclosure, natural hazard disclosure. But you know what title is? Title is a disclosure on the vesting and on the not the condition of the property, but the condition and the issues that is going to affect the ownership and the estate and the interest of the new buyer. So it's a title disclosure. Okay, so now you know why we need title insurance. Title insurance is different from other insurance. We don't insure the future. What do you mean by we don't insure the future? So we insure what we've checked, and anything that's in the past that could affect the ownership and the usage and of the new buyer. We insure what the history. So that means A sells it to B. We will take care of all of this A's issue. So if he has any loan, any judgment, any liens, we have to disclose it. And also at the close of escrow, we have to either get the loans paid, the judgments paid and released, all that stuff. Okay, so on the preliminary report, there are several things. There's the number one thing is the financial part. Financial part is in Schedule B. So Schedule B is the essence, the meat and bone of the property. So I don't want you to look at preliminary report now because it has a lot of information that are different. Yours and everybody else is different. So I can't give you a report that right now that is going to be useful to you. But I do have sample reports. If you text me or email me, I can send you one. So you can keep it and study it as you go on. Schedule B is really important. Schedule B has what? Schedule B, or we call the exception. Exception means we're not going to insure this. Okay, so don't go and tell your buyer, oh, title company is not going to insure these. You're going to scare them. Okay, as a realtor, you have to be smart. We put it as an exception because there are the financial part, the money part. The property tax is an exception. We are going to pay the property tax for the seller. So the future taxes are the buyer. So that's why we call it an exception. We are going to pay it. Okay, but we put it under Schedule B. So Schedule B is the meat and bone. And also, if there's any loans, there's a term that we always use, liens, L-I-E-N-S. Property tax is a lien. Loan is a lien. Judgment is a lien. Court action is a lien. Any bonds and assessments are all liens. So don't get scared by the word lien. There are different types of lien. Most of the liens can be taken care of, okay? So financial liens, that's what we're talking about right now. Property tax needs money to be paid. The seller has deed of trust. Well, we'll put in an exception and said this is Bank of America, $200,000, $300,000. Number 3, there's another equity line with East West Bank, so we put it in as an exception. What do we do with that? The title preliminary title report is a disclosure of the condition of the title. It gets sent to who? It gets sent to escrow. It gets sent to, and escrow will send it to the buyer. to approve, correct? We have to approve the preliminary report. I have a problem with that. Why doesn't the listing agent gets one? The report is on what? It's on the seller's problem right now. So I don't understand why this escrow doesn't send it to the seller. I have very seasoned realtors that has been using me for the last 30, 40 years. So my really seasoned realtor, as soon as he gets a listing, he orders a preliminary report from me. Why? Because he or she, the realtor, that the listing agent wants to know all the problems on title so they can take care of it so it doesn't what? Cause a delay of closing. So as soon as I get, my realtor gets a listing, they order a preliminary title report right away. So I can go over it with the listing agent and tell them the problem. There are problems that can delay the closure escrow. Loans do not. Institution lender, I'm talking about Bank of America, Wells Fargo, US Bank, institution lenders will not cause a delay because escrow will write to them and get a demand. We'll know the balance within like a week or 2 weeks. So that doesn't delay any closing. But if you see in Schedule B on your prelim, a list pendants, a court action, a judgment, right now, a lot of it. I get a lot of it. Homeowner association lien. A lot of the foreign buyers, they buy a property, they don't even live here, they rent it out, or they sit vacant, and they don't know there's a homeowner association, though they haven't paid. I have one right now that has $10,000 of association back pay. And they haven't paid for 3 years, 4 years. So that's going to cause a delay. What if the association is busy? Sorry, I have to get some water. What if the association is busy or the association is not very responsive or they don't know how to calculate it? This one that I have right now is not going to be a problem because the attorney got involved. So I can talk to the attorney. It's easy. It's the homeowner associations that's run by individuals. They're difficult. So remember, Schedule B is very important. You need to verify Schedule B, an item by item. If you don't understand it, please reach out to me. I will explain it to you. I'm not going to give you a sample because every prelim is different. So you have property tax, Schedule B, we'll have to pay it. We have Bank of America, a $400,000 loan. We have East West Bank, credit line. Number one, credit line is very important. It's only $200,000. You're selling a house for 1.5. There's plenty of money, right? That's not an issue. But if you see a judgment, you see a court action, judgment, that means the court says somebody sued somebody and they won. So there is money already. They say $20,000, $30,000, it's there. There's usually an attorney involved. So we can contact the attorney, escrow can contact the attorney, get a demand, a payoff demand. So we will know how much we have to pay the attorney and get this judgment satisfied. We will get a satisfaction of judgment from the attorney to take care of this item. Okay.
This is, if the property is one of the condos in the complex, would the lien on the other condos appear on the particular on the condo that you purchased it?
Okay, the question is, if the property is a condo, will the other liens that is on the condo affect this one?
Yeah.
The one that you're in escrow with? Usually not, because if there, let's say there's 3 units. If A hasn't paid for the condo association fee, it only affects A. The only problem that I have, it's not the association. If there's a lawsuit that sues the whole condo complex, that will affect it. That's why title is not that easy. It gets a little complicated. It depends on who is filing and what for. Okay, so I have a court action that we are still working on. It's the owners of all 20 units suing the association and the builder for builder's defect, the contractor's defect, and also the association didn't do their job. Okay, those are complicated. So that's why it is so important. That's why my good listing agent season 1 always order the prelim. The one I'm talking about with the condo court action is not in escrow yet. So we have plenty of time. So now the listing agent and the seller and I are trying to work with the association and find out what kind of lawsuit. Why? Why do we do that? Why do we want to do that before you open escrow? Number one, if the buyer comes in with a loan, lender's not going to fund on it. So they're going to be not able to get the loan. Even if you proceed with paying the appraisal, paying the point, and you process the loan, at the end, we can't close. So my listing agent is very careful. We want to do this before we even go into escrow or accept any offers. So we were working on that.
So you won't issue a title when there's a lawsuit?
No, we will not. That's an exception. Remember, that's an exception to the policy. This will appear in Schedule B, exception.
So if there's a lawsuit, then you cannot sell any condo in the complex.
It depends on what kind of lawsuit.
Oh,
yeah,
lawsuit that you're talking about.
Yeah, that one, no, that one because all the owners are suing association and the builder. Okay, so we're not closing. And sometimes I'm the messenger that delivers the bad news. You gotta understand, I don't like bad news either. You can't close escrow, you don't make money, I don't make money. So don't kill the messenger, don't kill me, okay? But when I see this kind of lawsuit, instead of wasting your time, the listing agent's time, wasting the buyer's agent's time, and go into escrow, can't close, that's even worse. So if you really want to help this client, let's find out what's going on. And I always tell my agent, these difficult things that happen, you have to have the mindset saying, I'm learning something. This is growing pains. As a realtor, if you run into difficulties, and when I first started in the business, that was very frustrating. I didn't know a lot. I have a lot of problems. I was the only one that speaks Mandarin and Cantonese, so I get all the problems. But you know how I become good is by the problems that I was given. I learned how to look at it. I learned how to solve it. I'm a better rep. I'm very knowledgeable. And that's why I can help more people. So as a realtor, if you have the mindset of saying, this is a problem, but I'm going to learn from it and I can be better. And I think that helps you kind of like not get as frustrated. So in this case, we're not in escrow. She just signed the listing. So we have time. Okay. And I don't know how we're going to solve it, but I'm in the process of talking to the association and the builder's defect. And I don't know if they fixed anything. So we're going through and digging up more history. Okay. So Schedule B, I keep saying Schedule B is the meat and bone. This is where you look at. Okay. And if you see a judgment, to me, it's simple. I know how much you're going to pay. I have an attorney I can talk to. It's already set. It's in stone. You can, and also sometimes you can negotiate it. Let's say the judgment is for $50,000. Talk to an attorney and they can talk to the client. Maybe you can settle at $40,000, $30,000. So the judgment is not a bad thing. What I don't like is what we just talked about, the court action. We don't know the result. We don't have that kind of money. We don't know who's going to win or lose. It's not definite. Judgment is definite. A court action, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Yes, Rebecca.
If you have a judgment like that, and then you say we can settle like for 20, 30, 40,000.
You don't know. Yeah, you can try.
But we can go ahead and still put it in escrow like that. And can they take the money out of escrow?
Yes, that's what we do. Okay. Number one, when there's a judgment, when you negotiate it, you don't negotiate. Your seller has to negotiate.
Okay.
Okay. I like the agent that's very proactive, but sometimes I tell them it's not really good for you to get involved. You will tell the seller they need to negotiate. But you know, and I know a lot of sellers don't want to do anything. So that's another issue. But it is something that can be negotiated. And the reason that I think that getting a preliminary title report before you get the list, before you put in escrow is easier than in escrow. Why? If there, I'm not saying this is to encourage you to do that. If you know the listing has a judgment before you go into escrow, it's easier and you have more time to negotiate with the attorney. If it's already in escrow, the attorneys don't want to negotiate anymore. They're knowing that you're selling, you have to pay.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just human nature. If it's not in escrow, you negotiate, they might say, okay, I don't know when we're going to get paid. We might as well get paid now. A little less, but better than nothing. But if it's in escrow and you don't know that you have this judgment and you're closing next week, you think the attorney's going to negotiate with you? No, they know you have to close. They want that money. Okay?
Yeah.
So getting the prelim ahead of time is really important. So Schedule B has all the things to do with financial, the money part of it. But also Schedule B has a different section that has the easements, the CC&R, all the stuff that it's recorded that affects the title, but title company cannot change. That means just like NHD, if it's in a flood area, a fire area, the NHD company cannot change that. We're the same way. If there's an easement, there's a CC&R, there's something like that, we disclose it because it's recorded, but we can't change it. So that's the condition of the title. Okay? The money part, we can take care of it. And we can pay it through escrow at the close of escrow, not a problem. As long as the escrow will do a net sheet and tell you what are the things that we have to pay. Okay? So lenders, escrow write a demand to Wells Fargo for the $400,000. Now, number one, realtors beware. Most of the listing agent doesn't know. The buyer's agent doesn't know. Credit line, HELOC. HELOC and credit line is different from a loan. I borrow a loan from Wells Fargo. I pay, it's a 30-year loan. I pay $3,500 every month to the lender. Not a problem. I have automatic withdrawal, not a problem. But I have a HELOC for $100,000, a East-West equity line. I never used it. A lot of people borrow it and never use it, right? And the seller would tell you, the listing agent, I never use it. We don't have to pay. No. An equity line has to be closed, officially closed by the bank. I'm not going to take a zero demand. That means you don't owe anything. That's not going to work. Why? A real estate loan, you pay $3,500 every month to the bank. Equity line, you have a checkbook. You can wire, you can draw money anytime. That means even though you haven't spent it, we want that account closed. Why? You close this morning and your buyer can go buy a $100,000 car by just transferring money out of the HELOC because it's not closed. It's like a checking account. So when you see an equity line, please tell your seller to go to the bank and close it. The bank doesn't close it in the same day. Sometimes it takes 5 to 10 days. So last minute, I get this all the time. Last minute, the seller tells the agent calls me and says, well, you should have closed it. Well, they don't have it. They never use it. It's a $200,000, $100,000. They never use it. I said, we're not closing.
So that money's there.
Yeah,
They
but
gotta
it's
call them and
different.
Tell them just can't.
You have to
close it.
close the account. The owner has to go in and close the account because it's like a checking account. It's like I can wire the money out.
Yeah.
Using my phone. Then the title company is out $100,000. Okay, but we'll make an exception. We'll hold the entire amount, sometimes plus a little more, to let you have time to close it. Okay, but that's why when you are looking at the prelim, you already know what escrow's doing, what title's requirements are. So I'll say it again, Schedule B there are exceptions. That means the financial part of it, we have to take care of it. The parts that we can't take care of, like a disclosure, the easement, the oil and gas lease, the CC&Rs, it's a disclosure. We can't change it, but it's also an exception to the policy. So the buyer buys it with that. Right now, a lot of people are buying their flippers, or they want to tear it down and rebuild, or they want to add the ADU. Agents, you have the buyer's agent. The buyer tells you they want to build, tear it down, or add. You usually, if you know, if they don't know, you don't say anything. But I would rather for you to ask the title company, Nancy, I want you to plot all the easements. Okay, because we tell you in the report, but you don't know where it is. But your buyer might want to have it. So what we do is takes another 3 to 5 days. We will look at the map. We'll blow up the plat map. We'll, if there's 3 easements, we'll name it in the report and we'll draw it on the map for you, 3 different colors. So you will know where the easements are at. Very seldom I will run into a case that we cannot even plot the easement because we don't know where it's at. But it's good to at least ask for it. So you know there's an easement in the back 20 feet by 100 feet that you can't build on there. Okay, so anybody understand Schedule B? Any questions? You can text me or email me or call me later, okay? So, and the last part is the note section, or the section where we will tell you what the requirements are. For example, a lot of times now it happens almost every day. Oh, let me go back to Schedule B. Schedule B will be changed sometimes because remember we talked about this many times that in the state of California, any personal liens and judgments is automatically attached to your property, any property you own. Let me gonna pick on Peter. Peter owns 10 properties. If Peter has a lien, it never got recorded to any property. But remember, you get the form statement of information, confidential information, that is required by all title company. The seller has to fill it out to give us his name, if he has other names, his social security number, his driver's license number, his marriages, and also where he has lived in the last 10 years. The reason is Nancy Chan is a very common name. I know 4 Nancy Chans. There's a realtor in Pasadena named Nancy Chan.
Yes.
I used to get her CAR magazines sent to me. Okay, so that means if I have a lien on my name, the mistaken identity could fall onto her or three other Nancy Chans. So the statement information, it's addendum to Schedule B. So we check the name and make sure there's no liens against this Nancy Chan that's selling the property. So Schedule B is not complete until the statement of information is submitted to the title company. Okay, this is something I want to remind you. You want to learn, but you want to learn ways of not delaying the close of your escrow. So I have one agent only. After 40 years, I've been teaching this. He goes to get a listing, or he shows a property, buyer wants to write an offer. He will get my statement information, have them fill it out when the time he took the listing. Instead of waiting for escrow to do it, because we attach it to our prelim, so the escrow will send it to the seller and the buyer to fill it out. But let's talk about the seller right now. If Dora, I'm going to pick on you. Dora is going to take a listing, and she can download the statement information from our website. She will take it to the seller. When the seller is filling out all this form, why don't you have them fill it out right away? You haven't even opened escrow yet, but you can have me check if he has any personal liens and judgment. IRS, state tax, those are not on the prelim. Okay? I'm not going to pick on you, Dora. I'm going to use my name now. What if
No problem.
I owe other people? Thank you. What if I owe other people money? I have IRS liens and things like that. It's not going to show up on the prelim because the title company doesn't have my social, they cannot put all the Nancy Chan's lien onto your prelim. Then your prelim will look like nobody wants to buy it. Okay, so we need that statement of information. We call it SI. So if you a good listing agent, if you learn something today, when you go take the listing, take the statement of information first. With that, with the contract, and they fill it out, and you can have me run it right away. So we have 30 days, 45 days, whatever days to take care of them. Okay, I'll give you an example. This is what happened to my friend. He's a retired detective from LAPD. Years ago, I was doing his refi only. It was not a sale, so we didn't know what was going on. When we did his refi, when he sent out the statement of information, he bought the property a long time ago, divorced for a long time. We found out there was a judgment on his ex-wife. He owned a big SUV and he gave it to his ex-wife. The ex-wife, before the divorce was final, went to a tire shop and got like 8 tires and never paid. So poor Tony calls me up. Nancy, I said, okay, I know, I knew your ex-wife, so what are we going to do? And you know what? They don't talk to each other anymore. He wanted to pay. He was a good guy, detective. He couldn't find the tire shop anymore. This is where the expertise and knowledge comes in. Tire shop went under. It was 15 years later. But it was a judgment. Okay, what are we going to do? The tire shop is not there. He can't pay it, even if he wants to. Nancy can't figure it out. If you write to the tire shop, the creditor, letter and register 3 times with return receipt requested, the post office will do that. I hope the post office never goes out of business. The other people don't do it. Only the post office does it. I can send something to Peter to his last known address 3 times with return receipt requested. That means you didn't sign for it. Register, you didn't sign for it. It gets returned to me. I will take that. And he did that. It delayed his refi, but interest rate was low then. He took these return receipt requested to the court where the judgment was done and paid the money to the court plus interest and penalty because they know how to calculate it. The court took the money and gave him a release. Other title owners don't know that. I do. Because I've solved so many people's problem. I found out if you can't pay it, you don't know who to pay. The tire shop's out of business. But the court will sign it for you. It just took time. And we got that release. So he got released, he got his refund. Huh?
Where does the money go to?
The court, the government.
Government.
That's why they have unclaimed money.
Unclaimed money.
They have unclaimed money because that's what happened. Okay. I was going to teach you another class whenever Peter allows me about quitclaim deed and divorces. There's so many problems with that. So now we know Schedule B is very important, okay? Then we go to the notes section where the requirements section is. The title company would tell you what we need, okay? The SI, the confidential information, and if your seller is an LLC or trust, in the requirements section will tell you we need the LLC documents, we need the trust documents. If there's any flaws in some quitclaim that is uninsured, we'll tell you in the requirements section, okay? If you do, and there's so many things that are different in the condition of the property that you're selling. I can't give you everything, but if you do have a preliminary title report that previously you have problem with, or right now, you're welcome to come to me. I will sit down with you and tell you how to read it, how to resolve the problem. And you know what? I've always told all my clients, most problem, 99.9% of the problem can be resolved. You know what the issue lies? You're running out of time.
So Nancy, if we give you the statement of information, you can run the check and see whether you have any liens under your name on all the LA County.
And other counties
And
if I
other
have.
county too? Wow, that's great.
Okay, but I need the complete information. Somebody wrote on it. Okay, and the statement information gets sent to escrow, but escrow gets sent it to people. But okay, I'm not saying escrows are not good. All your service people render, we all want to do the best service and help you. But if you have all cash deal, that's 14 days. The SI comes to us 10 days later. You're not closing if there's a problem. So as a listing agent, if you really want to do your job correctly, and I'm giving you some tips, get that statement of information signed first. This way, before you even open escrow, we can find a problem. A lot of times they did pay it off, but there was no releases. We need time to get that. If you're the buyer's agent, as soon as they're ready to buy a property, you contact the lender to run the credit, right? Why don't you run the SI, their information too? I have a buyer, it was so cute. The wife owns a nail shop and they're gonna buy something. Guess what? The nail shop, she's really sweet, but she got pregnant, she closed down the shop. She didn't pay the EDD. They didn't know. They did not know. They're innocent, but we ran and we found it. So before they even go get the loan, let's get that resolved. So the so the lender can get the loan better. If they're ready to buy, get the SI in. Oh, okay. I'm gonna give you another thing. Everybody on title should have the SI, right? If there is a seller. Buyer's agent beware. A lot of time they add other people doing escrow, and I need that too. Also, you run the credit report, you run the SI before you add somebody on, because you're good, and then you add another person on, that person has problems. I've been doing it for 44 years. I've run into every problem you can imagine. I'm sure there's going to be more problems, but I'm just giving you tips on how you can have the deals done more easily and more efficiently. I'm not saying escrow's not going to do their job, but they will do it after after they report the prelim, after they get the prelim. They don't send it to you ahead of time. So that, since your seller is signing all the forms already, have them sign one more. Okay, so it makes it easier. And then take it to your title rep, have them run it before you even go into escrow.
I have a question, Nancy.
Yes.
Do we get that statement information from you?
Yeah, I have it on my website, but I can email I can send it to Michelle and you can put it in your group chat. Okay?
This is a blank form.
It's a blank form.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But it has all the information that we need to run it. Okay. If it's an LLC, if it's a trust, we will put it in the notes section, the requirements section. We need that document. Okay. Should I'm not going to talk about it. Okay. And when the title companies looks at LLC, we will run it through the state. And this is number one. If they haven't paid their taxes, we cannot close. That means they're not in good standing. When they're not in good standing is if you have an LLC, you have all the documents, but you haven't paid your taxes, that means the LLC is not legally existing. So we have to make sure that they pay their taxes. So if you have an LLC, that's the seller. Number one question, when did you pay your last tax? And it happened last year. This year, thank heaven, I haven't had one. Last year in almost April, they haven't paid their taxes for 3 years. They called their CPA and the CPA says, I'm sorry, I'm too busy. I can't help you. Tax time. Okay, so if the seller is LLC, ask that question. Very simple. And ask for all the entity documents. So we're okay with that. Okay, give all, and I think any business, even if you run a restaurant, you gotta have all the meat and the vegetable and the supplies ready. So you're running your own business. Real estate is a business. So get all the ducks in a row, get all the necessary documents together. I can write a list and send it to Michelle of what we need and why we need it. And I think that would be good to keep. Yeah. So yeah, I will do that and tell you a list of the things that we need. Okay. We do have samples of preliminary title report. It's in a book form. And I didn't want to print 100 of them. So, but if you do need them, give me a call. It explains Schedule B, Schedule A, exclusion, exceptions. It's really detailed. And it's not a joke. If you can't sleep at night, read it, it'll put you to sleep. Really? I mean, I read the title handbook In 1981, when I first got into the business, I borrowed the book from the library. There's no internet, there's no computer. And I took it home. I had it for a week. In 2 days, I finished it. But after 2 days, I still didn't understand anything. And it's just normal because experience helps. Now I call myself a title handbook, okay? So just make sure that if you need this information, text me, call me, I will send it to you, okay? And I will send you a copy of a list that you need and the requirements that we need. Remember, number one, we're a title disclosure. We disclose the vesting and the estate interest of the property, okay? Also, this is something that people have a misunderstanding of. Who does the title company insure? Who's our ultimate customer? It's the buyer. We issue a homeowner's policy to the buyer. We don't insure the seller. Okay, so you need to understand that. But if you need somebody to explain to your buyer, because I know a lot of buyers, first-time buyers, or they don't speak enough English, they don't understand it, let me know. I will help you. Okay, I've been doing this for a long time. I was talking to Lee just now. I said my goal when I started is that I can make life easier for somebody. If I can help somebody to resolve a problem, I'm happy to do it. Okay, so any questions? No questions? Oh, you guys are, no tests. I'm not going to give you a test. But Schedule B.
Very useful. It's a Secretary of State website. You can get all the LLC corporation information from them.
Yeah, but we do need a minute. We also need the articles. Okay, articles of a corporation in a minute, because if there's more than one owner of the LLC, they need to do a meeting that they're selling this property. I need everybody's signature. Okay, so it's like if you and your brother and sister owns an LLC, you can't sell it by yourself. You need their meeting minutes, so they're willing to sell. Okay, and also I'll ask something. If the
Nancy,
buyer,
I do have a question. Sorry.
sure, go ahead.
For the business listing, for selling, I know that it's not like residential, but it involved with tenant informations because they are selling the business. So what is your recommendation for getting some sort of statement or information, something like that?
Okay, when you sell a business, okay, there's no title, you're not selling real property. You're
Right.
selling business. And the escrow is really good. The escrow is good in, well, why do you worry about the buyer when you're dealing with the seller? You sell the business, you're done. Unless you're carrying it something, unless you have assigning the lease, that's different. If they're just outright buying your business and they have a new lease, Dora, you don't worry about the buyer. I think
Okay.
the escrow, there's very few escrow company now that will do what we call bulk transfer. Bulk
Right.
transfer selling the business. Very
Right.
few, but Marie does it. Contempo escrow, she's really good.
I
And
see.
she's excellent in her way of doing business. She's so good. I really like her as a person too.
I see.
Yeah. So when they do it, they will have to post notices on the newspaper, and they have to make sure that the seller doesn't have any problems financially that the buyer is responsible for. So the suppliers and everybody will get notices, and there's a legal period of how long you have to do it, and I don't remember. So this way that helps your seller and also help the buyer to, they don't have any problems as far as that's concerned.
You also have to do the UCC search.
Yeah, UCC search, they'll do it, and it's a pay search, and that's how you do it. Okay, so
Okay.
and I can do, and Marie can come in and do another thing on bulk transfer. I think it's a good idea. Okay,
I
Dora,
see. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else before I sign off and give you a big smile and ask for your business and leave? Okay, this book is available. My expertise, my knowledge is available. And
Can you email it to us and
yes, I will.
Flash to all the
Yeah,
people?
I will. I'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Have a good Friday. Have a good weekend. Go
Thank
out
you,
there and get some
Nancy. That
business.
was fabulous. Thank
Take
you.
care. Thank you. Thank you.
Since I'm your only student, give me that one.
You get it. You got it.
Thank you.
You got it.
Thank you, Nancy.
You're welcome.
Good material.
Yes. And I've got more. This is very informative. That's why I came. I'm like, I got it.
No, it's just the way life
I
is.
think we
now.
have to stop
Since
it.
COVID, nobody wants to be seen.
Yeah, that's true.
I still
It
want to
changed
teach everything. Yeah, it changed a lot. Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Nancy.
Now, you know, someone who's using me, I'm very blessed.
You want me to take
Hey,
care?
thank you, Michelle.
Okay.
Okay, I gotta go.
You have to
Okay.
stop the recording first.
Thank you.
Okay.